welcome everyone here today. We're happy to see the crowd before us today. We do have a few of our members who are out. Mr. Rogers will be joining us online, I think, here, and hopefully is on now. I would like to just say how much we appreciate all of you and your involvement. We recognize from the Chancellor and his staff, the presidents and your staff, the amount of work that goes into preparing for these meetings. What we do here goes by in just a few moments, but it's taken weeks to come to this point, and we truly do appreciate the efforts that you make, and we appreciate all of the due diligence that is given to some very serious things that we consider here. As always, we want to remain focused on student success and remain true to our core mission of education, workforce development, and academic transfer. At this time, I'd like to introduce our visiting pastor, Pastor Courtney D. Meadows. Pastor Courtney D. Meadows is an emerging 21st century leader, gifted gospel preacher, empowerment speaker, and flame igniter. I read here that he committed himself at age 6 to becoming a minister. He is widely known as an old soul for his powerful presentation of wisdom and hope and appealing to the young and old. The grace of God upon Pastor Meadows' life has allowed him to travel throughout the United States and Africa. With over a decade of pastoral experience, he previously served as a senior pastor of First Missionary Baptist Church of Whitehall, Alabama, and the historic Hutchinson Missionary Baptist Church of Montgomery, Alabama. Pastor Meadows now uses those experiences to foster intentional intergenerational ministry at the Grace Baptist Church of Atlanta, Georgia. He is the founder and chief igniting officer of Igniting the Flame Ministries, a ministry established to encourage, equip, and empower believers to reach the least, last creatively, and lost with talents and testimonies. I would say today, too, that he's driven from Atlanta to be with us. Thank you so much, Pastor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Montgomery is home, and it is always a pleasure to cover this community college system and Board of Trustees and all of those that work in the education of our next generation. We're praying for you, and would you join me in prayer this morning? Eternal God, our Father, thank you again for the Alabama Community College system. We thank you for the leadership of Chairman McAnally and all of the Board of Trustees, their work of governance. Thank you for Chancellor Baker and his dedicated staff, along with every president and their staff. As we embrace a new term of learning, we thank you for how you have kept us in these unprecedented times. We're confident that you will give us the strength and the grace to carry forward. For this meeting today, dear God, and for all of the endeavors of this system, we invoke your presence and pray your blessings. Would you grant your protection in the face of the challenges of this coronavirus? We ask that you would give to this Board of Trustees and all leadership wisdom and decision-making, innovation in strategic initiatives, most of all, unity and determination to forge ahead in the work of preparing people here for the fulfilling of their purpose that you have created each of them with in our great state. All these things we pray, dear God, with confidence that you hear us, that you answer us, and you enable us to do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ever ask, think, or imagine. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Meadows. Would you please join in the pledge? Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, Madam Secretary, a roll call, please.
Mr. Jeff Shell.
Present.
Mr. John Mitchell.
Present.
Ms. Valerie Gray.
Present.
Ms.
Present.
Mr. Goodrich Rogers.
Present.
Milton Davis.
Present.
Mr. Leonard.
Present.
Wayne McNabb.
Present.
Dr. Dave Richardson. Governor Kay. Chairman Aaron Moore.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, we have the approval of our agenda, but before we do so, I just want to make a note that we are having one item that is being pulled from the agenda that had been advertised previously, the item 9A3, Central Alabama Community College Building Addition and Renovations to the Prattville campus has been pulled from the agenda and will be addressed in a future time. It's Marion? It is Marion. Okay, all right. David, it says Central.
It does. Yeah.
Give us just a moment. We're going to double check that. In fact, is the item that is to be pulled.
It's Central.
It's correct. Central or Marion? Central, okay. All right, so it is correct that Central Alabama Community College is the item that will be pulled from the agenda. Other than that, we have no changes on the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
I'll make a motion.
Second. We have a motion from Mr. Davis, second from Mr. Woods. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
The agenda is now approved. All right, at this time in our schedule, we've got the opportunity for public comment. Anyone signed up, Madam Secretary? No one signed for public comment. Very good. Item 7, Student Spotlight. Today we have the pleasure of having a Student Spotlight from Chattahoochee Valley Community College. I'm sorry, let me back up here and do the minutes. Thank you. Item 5, approval of the minutes from the July 13, 22 meeting. Our minutes have been distributed previously to the board. They've had an opportunity to review those and make comments. I would now entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes of July 13 signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Thank you, Mr. Davis. And now, back to item 7, Student Spotlight. I think President Screws is going to make this presentation for us.
Good morning, Chairman McAnally, members of the board, Chancellor Baker. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the student who will be spotlighted this morning. Quinn Perry is a sophomore at Chattahoochee Valley Community College. She is the daughter of Travis and Tammy Perry of Smith Station, Alabama. While a student at Smith Station High School, Quinn participated in the dual enrollment program and focused on medical assisting. She graduated from Smith Station High School in 2021 and completed her associate degree in medical assisting in May of 2022. Quinn has a GPA of 3.2. She is a student ambassador, a member of the Student Government Association, and she is the reigning Miss Chattahoochee Valley Community College. She recently participated in the Alabama Deans of Student Affairs Association Student Leadership Initiative, and she serves on the Dean of Students and Campus Services Advisory Committee at Chattahoochee Valley Community College. Quinn works as a medical assistant at the Columbus Cardiology Clinic in Columbus, Georgia, where she administers stress tests to patients on a daily basis. She participates in the work study program at CVCC in the marketing department. She enjoys shopping and spending time with her family. Quinn is an ambitious and gifted individual and is currently working on a second associate degree in computer information technology. She aspires to work in cybersecurity and plans to own her own business in the future. Quinn personifies the ideal ACCS and CVCC student. She is laser-focused and determined to reach her goals, fulfill her purpose, and become an outstanding member of the workforce in her home state. And now we will show a video that we are prepared to spotlight Quinn.
Quinteria Quinn Perry is a sophomore at Chattahoochee Valley Community College. She started her journey early at CVCC, taking dual enrollment classes beginning in the 10th grade.
So I learned through older students that they were taking dual enrollment classes at CVC and they were like trying to graduate early, and I was like, okay, that's something that I want to do. I don't want to be in school for too long.
Quinn makes the most of her time as a pirate. By spring 2023, she would have earned 2 associate degrees and several certifications. Quinn enjoys her job at Columbus Cardiology in Columbus, Georgia, where she administers stress tests to patients on a daily basis.
That's what I love about my job, because you meet different people every day and you meet different personalities every day. It's something new every day, and you have good and bad, but that's the best part of it. You never know who you'll meet and what they'll do. Like, they'll brighten your day. They really will.
Being able to take what she has learned in the classroom and apply it in the working world has been a rewarding experience.
The training that I got from CVC and being prepared to come and do clinicals helped tremendously. And you're actually putting the work in that you've learned from school. So being here and the people that I work with actually helping and guiding me through everything, it's been great. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a great transition.
As a first-generation college student, Quinn understands the importance of a quality education. She says her parents are very supportive and have really pushed her to do well in anything that she pursues.
It is important that I do well in school to achieve the long-term goals that I have set for myself, to create the lifestyle I want. I just want to make my parents proud.
Quinteria Quinn Perry is a sophomore at Chattahoochee Valley Community.
And at this time, it's my pleasure to present Quinn Perry to give you a part of her story.
Good morning. Greetings to ACCS Chandler, Jimmy Baker, Board of Trustees, President, and guests. Thank you for your invitation for me being here today. As I shared in my video, it is extremely important to me to make my parents proud. Taking dual enrollment classes at CVC was the first step in making my parents proud. I took advantage of the dual enrollment opportunities that were offered at CVC by completing all of my medical assistant classes that were required for me to complete my associate's degree and become employed. When I learned about the ambassador scholarship, that was the deal for me to stay at CVC. That gave me the opportunity to pursue another degree. As an ambassador, I am able to share my college experience, meet new people, and also represent the college at community events, which has been a great experience in my higher education. Scholarships opportunities are very important for me as a first generation college student like myself. Being an ambassador and having my college paid for has been an open door for me that I never thought that I could possibly get. Without being an ambassador and having my college paid for, I never thought that all of these doors will open for me, and I am so thankful for that. I have earned one associate's degree, and I am now pursuing another one. I've always loved technology, and technology grows every day. To secure my future in May of 2023, I will walk across the stage of CVC with my associate's degree in information technology. Even though I have a lot on my plate as a young adult, I have goals, and it's important to me to achieve all of my goals. Many people ask me what keeps me motivated And I'll leave you with humble advice that I share with others. Remember that what's meant to be will be. If it's not, don't try to force it. Allow yourself to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because oftentimes in those uncomfortable moments, there's opportunity for growth. Surround yourself with positive people. Set short-term and long-term goals. And last, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it, because asking for help empowers you and your ability to grow and succeed. Thank you again for this opportunity. And as we say at CVCC, it's always a great day to be a pirate.
Thank you, Board, for giving us the opportunity to spotlight one of our students. And I know you can see why we're proud that she is a
Yes.
member of our student body. I would be remiss in my duties if I did not recognize our Associate Dean of Student Development and Success, Ms. Vicki Williams, who escorted our student here today. Ms. Williams, would you please stand? Thank you all so much, and go Pirates.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming to us today, and Quinn, thank you. We're very proud of what you're doing and continue to do. You're a great example of why we're here. Thank you for coming today and sharing your story with us. All right, we're going to move into Section 8 of our agenda, Executive, Legal, and Public Information. Our first action item, A1, Wallace State Community College, Hanceville, approval of naming Business Education Building. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the president of Wallace State Community College, Hanceville, to name the Business Education Building in honor of Dr. Jerry D. Jaclyn, and to add appropriate signage. The Coleman Savings Bank Foundation pledges to gift Wallace State Community College, Hanceville with $100,000 annually for 5 years for a total of $500,000. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion for Mr. Wood.
Second.
Second, Mr. Davis. Any discussion? Comments?
Just want to say, Mr. Chairman, that thank you to the Coleman Savings Bank Foundation. Dr. Karlowick's a fantastic partnership there as always, and certainly appropriate to recognize Dr. Jaclyn. I'm very excited about this.
Hearing nothing further, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Motion is approved unanimously. Moving on to item 8A2, Wallace State Community College, Hanceville, approving of naming Central Mirror and the School of Nursing Center of Science. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the president of Wallace State Community College, Hanceville, to name the Central Mirror and the School of Nursing Center for Science in memory of McKenna Grace Sharpton, and to add appropriate signage. The Coleman Savings Bank Foundation pledges to gift Wallace State Community College, Hanceville with $10,000 annually for 10 years for a total of $100,000. Entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Wood.
Second.
Second by Mr. Shell. Any discussion?
I'll just echo my last comment again, a fantastic partnership, and I was really touched reading about the former student, and is no longer with us. Just a fitting tribute to her, and again, thank you to the foundation for recognizing her and providing these funds for Wallace.
Anything further? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 8A, item 8A3, Alabama Community College System 2022-23 ACCS Salary Schedules. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees adopt the attached 2022-2023 ACS salary schedules for the community and technical colleges and the Alabama Technology Network. We hear a motion.
Motion.
We have a motion, Mr. Roan.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wood. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. If you're in favor of this motion, raise your hand or signify by voice vote.
Aye.
The motion carries. Now moving to Section 9, Instructional Research and Development, Adult Education, Facilities, Fiscal Information Technology, and Workforce Development. Beginning our action items 9A1, Shelton State Community College Equipment Purchase for CDL HERF Funds. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the president of Shelton State Community College to spend $811,608 in HERF funds for the purpose of purchasing 4 new long-haul trucks for CDL training. Entertain a motion.
So move.
Motion, Mr. Rome, second, Mr. Davis. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving now to item 9A2, the Alabama Community College System allocation of the 2022-23 two-year college system and prison education operations and maintenance appropriation. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees approve the allocation of the 2022-2023 Education Trust Fund appropriation for operations and maintenance of the two-year colleges and the prison education appropriation as recommended by the Chancellor. Entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Davis. Second, Mr. Wood. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving now to item 9A3, Shelton State Community College upgrade of security system. Let's see. Back up one. I think I've got something out of order here. Yeah. Okay. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Shelton State Community College to expend $3,298,571 for the purpose of updating, enhancing, and future-proofing its security system. I entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Woods. Second by Mr. Davis. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
The motion carries. Next, item 9A4, Lawson State Community College, CARES Act for COVID-related capital renewal. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Lawson State Community College to proceed with construction of the project named CARES Act for COVID-related capital renewal. The scope of work of this project is to modernize and replace building systems that contribute to improved air quality and reduced transmission of COVID in multiple buildings at the Birmingham and Bessemer campuses of Lawson State Community College. Construction contracts shall be executed no later than January 31, 2023, or this authorization shall expire. Entertain a motion.
So move.
We have a motion for Mr. Roan. Second, Mr. Shell. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have item 9A5, Marion Military Institute, new dining hall and tennis court. It is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Marion Military Institute to proceed with construction of the project named new dining hall and new tennis courts. Marion Military Institute is authorized to negotiate a lower price for the tennis courts bid due to receiving only one responsive proposal. Any negotiation outlined in Title 39 for the work shall be for a price lower than the original bid. Construction contracts shall be executed no later than December 31, 2022, or this authorization shall expire.
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr. Roan,
Second.
second from Mr. Davis. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or voice vote.
Aye.
Motion carries. Very good. That brings us to item 10, personnel. We have nothing to report this week. This month, Chancellor, item 11, Chancellor's report.
We have been working, or the presidents have in particular, over the last number of months in this year to expand what we're doing in terms of student life on our campus. And I'd like to ask the commissioner, our schools operate under the National Association of Community College entity that controls sports and sets the rules and operations. And I just thought it was time to give a report to this community and to the Board of Trustees on the results over the last year or so.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chancellor Baker and the board for the invitation. It's always a great day when you can talk sports. So it's my pleasure to just give a brief update of our athletic programs, what we do while we're here, and give you a snapshot of what we are about. So who are we? Our institutions are members of the National Junior College Athletic Association, which is the two-year equivalent of the NCAA, and we compete in Region 22. Our conference is represented by 23 member institutions within the state of Alabama, and those 23 institutions currently offer the 14 sports that you currently see there. Of those 14 sports, we have 141 teams that compete yearly for conference championships as well as national championships. And on those 141 teams, in 21-22, we had a total of 1,732 student athletes that participated in our athletic programs. Did you know, since October 2021, we experienced unprecedented growth. We added 2 new members. Northwest Shoals will be coming back with us this fall. And then Reed State will be joining us in the fall of 2023. Both of their memberships were approved by the NJCAA at our December board meeting. To show the popularity of what we have on the field or court, we had 142,273 unique viewers view our live stream postseason tournaments last year. We also have had 41 NJCAA All-Americans from our conference the last 3 years. And in 21-22, we had over 1.2 million views of our website alone. So student first. Obviously, when you say student athlete, student comes first. And that's what they are first, is we treat them as students. Athletes are second. And everything that we put out, we capitalize student because that's our mission. I am more proud as commissioner of these numbers than any wins on the court or the field. In the fall of 2021, we had 1,001 student athletes earn a 3.0 GPA or higher. That's 58% of the total athletes that competed. In the spring semester, we had 919 earn over 3.0, which is 53%. Also during that time, we had 46 teams earn over a 3.0 or higher for the year. And then we also were honored to have 329 student athletes named NJCAA Academic All-Americans. 95 of them had a perfect 4.0, 107 a 3.8 to 3.99. and 127, a 3.6 to a 3.79. Now, on the field course, here is our team list of champions this past year. Cross country, Wallace State men and women. Volleyball, Wallace State. Basketball, Shelton State men and women. Tennis, Wallace State men, Central Alabama women. Golf, Central Alabama men, Wallace State women. Baseball, Snead State. And then softball, Wallace State. And Snead State also advanced to the national tournament. Of these teams, Shelton State women's basketball ascended to number 2 ranked team in the country, as did Central Alabama men's golf. And Wallace State spent approximately a month as the number 1 ranked team in the country last semester. And in a rare occurrence, in a good way, Coach A.J. Doherty, due to the success of Wallace State the last few years, was named this summer as head coach of UAB. It's a rare occurrence that a 2-year college head coach ascends to head coach of an NCAA Division I institution. So I know it's a tough loss, Dr. Karlowicz, but we know AJ will do very well and have the Blazers competing at a high level. One thing we try to make our student athletes aware is it's more than a game. And a couple of examples of what we have established. We established the Student Athlete Leadership Council. And this council is made up of 2 student athletes from each member college who attends monthly meetings. This council is led by our advisor, Dr. Ryan Spry from Wallace, Dothan. And you can see there in the second bullet some of the activities and speakers that we bring that have nothing to do with athletics, but talks about leadership, diversity, equity, inclusion, and as well as servant leadership. The partnership with Friends of Jaclyn Foundation is probably the most rewarding partnership I've been a part of in my 25-year career with athletics. The Friends of Jaclyn, if I may have a minute, was started by Dennis Murphy, whose daughter had pediatric cancer. And during her time with cancer, she was paired with a team, just to comfort her, then to provide a support system. So I contacted Dennis Murphy, said, I'd like to get a part of this, have our teams be a part of this. So as you can see, they pair teams with children who have pediatric brain tumors and those with other pediatric cancers. And as I said, these teams provide a support system to children and their families. This here was in March, and Dr. Anthony, I think she's here, was at this ceremony and then a day of baseball on their campus. This is the Nelson family who reside in Columbiana. Joseph, and they call him JJ for short, is the young man in the glasses. He's 5. And his brother is Colton. JJ, who's 5, has 5 brain tumors. And is not expected to live past age 10. So they called me and said, hey, do you have a team near this area? And Blake Lewis at Lawson, who's head baseball coach, was the first one I thought of. They were paired together. You can see at the picture here, his family, Casey, who's the mother, and Waylon, who's his father. They signed an agreement with Lawson State, as much as an agreement with a 5- and 7-year-old can be, to become a part of the Lawson State baseball family. And during this event, they spent time with the team. JJ and Colton threw out the first pitch and got to play around with the players in the dugout on the field. And it was rewarding in the sense that for a few hours that day, they could be just kids. It wasn't chemo, it wasn't shots, it wasn't going to Children's Hospital in Birmingham. They could just be kids. And it was very rewarding to see that. We still stay in touch with them. even though he's got a long battle ahead of him. I did talk to his father yesterday. 3 of his tumors have shrunk, which is great, but he still has a long road ahead of him. Snead State Baseball was also supposed to be paired with a young man, but unfortunately he passed away before they were able to connect. This morning I did contact Mr. Murphy, and we did renew this partnership for this coming year, so hopefully we will have a lot more teams get involved in this great foundation. Why do athletics exist? And I'm asked this a lot. One, it increases full-time enrollment. Of those 1,732 student athletes, 1,732 are required to be full-time students in order to participate. The presidents of intercollegiate athletics, as Chancellor Baker stated, promotes student involvement. It provides a method of community outreach, and it also adds to the overall college experience. A president I used to work for in North Carolina always told me, Dean, there's more to education than books, and I agree with that. Intercollegiate athletic events also give students, faculty, staff a team to cheer for and a reason to go back to campus for extracurricular events. And then outside of campus, athletics builds a sense of belonging for the community. And I can say without a doubt, our athletic participants are more than students, and they're also more than athletes. And when they leave our campus, they are very well-rounded and do extremely well at the 4-year level or any job that they go into. So thank you for having me, and we hope to see you at a game soon.
Thank you.
How many teams did we add?
Sir?
How many teams did we add this past season, or this upcoming season?
141.
How many did we increase?
Oh, 30, I'm sorry, yeah. We added 30 new teams since October of 21.
Okay.
And that's my colleagues across the country, how in the world did y'all do that? With enrollment how it is, well, enrollment here is going up. So it seems like we are ahead of the boat, but I owe all that credit to our presidents who have athletics. They are very supportive. Chancellor Baker's been very, very supportive, and I'm working on the last student on athletics, so hopefully we'll be at 100% in a few years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Barry, I think we have some special guests here. Would you do the honor of introducing?
I'd be happy to, Chancellor. Members of the board, I would like you to please welcome Mr. Gardner Carrick and Ms. Allison Jackson to the meeting today. Gardner Carrick is the president or vice president of Workforce Solutions for the Manufacturing Institute at the National Association of Manufacturers, and Ms. Allison Jackson is the associate director of FAME USA. And fun fact, Allison has spent time with Northwest Shoals Community College as the FAME coordinator role prior to going to the National Association of Manufacturers and serving as that FAME coordinator there. So we're very proud of her, and we are looking forward to continue work with her and expanding our FAME programs in the state. So the Manufacturing Institute has been a valued partner with ACCS in our Department of Labor Scaling Apprenticeships grant, and they've been working with us to develop a model for FAME to scale nationwide. And in addition, Gardner and his team have been working with us to assist several of our colleges in startups and expansion of their FAME programs. And of recent, two recent new programs is Bishop State Community College and Trenton State Community College. And they've had successful startups that their partnership has been just very critical in getting those going. Gardner and Allison, on the behalf of the Alabama Community College System, I want to welcome you to the meeting today, and I want to thank you so much for your partnership.
Gardner, Gardner, this would be an opportunity for you to brag on us if you want to. But no, I'd like for you to say a few things.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So our partnership with the Alabama Community College System has been incredible. They have been the model for the FAME program for us. For those of you that are unfamiliar with FAME, FAME is the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. It was the apprenticeship model started by Toyota and then transitioned to the Manufacturing Institute at a big national event held up in Decatur a couple years back. So they have been the model state and the model partnership at the community college level, and they're ones that we brag on everywhere we go. So we're really impressed and thrilled with the work that all of you have done, and thank you to all of the presidents that have made this happen. And we're looking forward to the next phase of the partnership. So thank you.
Thank you,
you.
sir. Very much.
In keeping with that discussion, I want us to talk about something else that is fairly new to us, but is a game changer. Back a few years ago in Rosemary, I'm not going to say how long ago, but over a long period of time, Rosemary Elabash has been a constant supporter of the community college system, and sometimes pushing and shoving to say, how can we get more people trained? One afternoon, Rosemary called and wanted to know if I would be available for dinner, and Chris Cox. So we had dinner that evening, and Rosemary, I'm going to drop the story there and let you pick up, so come forward. But out of that dinner meeting, do you have a friend with you?
I do. Mindy is also here.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. I couldn't see now. But out of that, we had an extended discussion about the plight that we find ourselves in, particular with smaller businesses, but businesses that depend on employees to make their business run. And is there a way that we could begin to address that issue? So Chris and I came back and we had a lot of conversation, and there was a lot of conversation between Chris and Rosemary and Brandy. And it's interesting where it has led us. So Rosemary, if you will, I'll let you say a little bit and then we'll go forward.
Thank you, and thank you to the board. It was a very interesting dinner, and I think the Chancellor's being kind by saying, you know, I really kind of pushed hard. I have had the opportunity for almost 20 years to represent Alabama's small business community as the state director for NFIB. NFIB was formed in 1943, and we have an office in all 50 states and in the nation's capital. And our mission is to help small business owners expand and grow their business. And in Alabama, 99.4% of businesses in Alabama are considered small business owners. So they're in every community, in every county. And what I have heard is we need skilled workers. And beginning a long time ago with I can't even remember how many chancellors back, I have been coming over here and expressing, you know, the desires of small business owners to really communicate and have a partnership with the local community colleges. And with Chancellor Baker, we finally have reached that partnership. And what does it do, and how does it matter, and what difference does it make in Alabama? I'm going to give y'all a few statistics, and I usually don't like to read these, but I think they're pretty startling when you think about it. NFIB does a monthly survey. We've done it since 1974, and we survey members across the nation, asking them questions about their business. And of course, pre-COVID, the number one issue was what? A lack of skilled workers, a lack of any worker. And post-COVID, where we are today, inflation has topped that, but not by much. So yesterday, our monthly survey came out, and I want to share these numbers with you. 49% of business owners had job openings they could not fill. 42% have openings for skilled workers that they cannot fill. 21% have workers for unskilled workers they cannot fill. 57% of business owners said that they had few or no qualified applicants in the month of June. That's startling when you think about it. The other statistic that we follow, and I know all of y'all have seen the great news that Alabama's down to 2.6 unemployment. That number's great, but let me give you what the number is. I emailed the Department of Labor and I said, tell me how many checks you distributed on Friday, and this was the Friday after the last report came out. 4,480 checks. So 67 counties with businesses in those communities are competing for 4,400 plus workers that are drawing unemployment checks. The real number we need to be looking at is the labor participation rate. And in Alabama, we have 43% of people ages 16 to 64 who are not in the labor force. Think about that. That's a lot of folks. And we need every one of them. So this brand new credentialing program that the Chancellor talked about is going to get us on a pathway of meeting those needs. And they've come out with 23 initial ones, but I'm going to tell y'all my favorite one. And they're laughing because they already know. It's the butcher school. I can't tell you how many grocery store owners I hear from that say it's the most expensive part of my store. The meat, what I sell, spoilage, how you cut, how you package, safety and all that. We have no butchers. So I was so pleased when they included the butcher school as the initial 23 that we're going to look at doing these short-term credentialings. And a big thank you to Ellie Taylor with the National Grocers Association. She came forth with the credentialing that we needed, with the curriculum that we needed, and it actually got us a great instructor that y'all can use. So a big thank you to the Chancellor, to the board, to the colleges that are looking out for the community that they reside in. And I can tell you that the partnership, when a community college decides that they're going to be the partner in their community, you will change Main Street in your community. And you will make a difference in kids' lives and their parents' lives by providing them these opportunities. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Rosemary. Are we going to have another story?
Mindy's going to tell the story.
So I'm Mindy Hannon. I am the president and CEO of the Alabama Restaurant and Hospitality Association. We're the trade associations for restaurants and hotels in the state of Alabama. And I can say pretty much unequivocally, there's no industries that were hurt worse during COVID. And, you know, most of our restaurants and hotels had to lay off all of their employees almost immediately. And so, you know, as Rosemary said, prior to COVID, we were having problems getting employees, and so now it's only been exacerbated. And so Rosemary took me to dinner with the Chancellor and Chris Cox, and this is actually a program that I have wanted for years, to have a credential that somebody can say, I have this credential, and it means the same thing in Hanceville as it means in Orange Beach, that people know that if you have this credential, you have this training skill set and have accomplished it. But so we sat down that night and talked about, you know, doing this short-term credential. And, you know, within weeks, I was meeting with Chris Cox and Mara Harrison, putting together focus groups. They came and met with my board members. We told them what we needed. And by January 1st, we had our first class graduate with their short-term credential. It is amazing the skills and ability that the people in the community college system have that were able to put together this credential in such a short period of time. It has a virtual training component where the students can learn from home, and then at the end of the week, they go to the local community college, that has a culinary center, and they do the hands-on training. And the business owners are there at the end of the day and hire every single person that's produced through this program. You know, I have so many people that are needing employees, and they are hiring everybody that's been produced through this program. And it's just been the greatest success, and I think it should be a model that should be developed throughout the country based on what Alabama's done, because this has been the thing that has helped my members more than anything in the past year, is what they did, and the fact that they did it so quickly and so efficiently and produced such a great product is amazing. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Keith, I've asked Keith Phillips if he would kind of review this, because this has been almost explosive, I guess I could say. It has been a rapidly developed program with a lot of success. So, Keith?
Thank you, Chancellor, Chairman McIntyre, board members. It's hard to follow that. I don't know what we say to provide you an update that's any better than what Rosemary and Mindy have just given you. And thank you guys for your support, longtime support, Rosemary, and pushing. And Mindy, thank you for the kind words. You know, what we're doing with Innovation Center, in particular the Skills for Success, is it's not revolutionary. It's sitting down with business and industry and talking about what those needs are for their occupations, and really defining what those skill sets are, and you know, that are unique, that they need, and go in and build the training. And so our role as the Innovation Center, I think this will come up in just a moment maybe. We've got a brief presentation we're going to give you an update on. There we go. It's been a little while since we've had an update on this, so I don't want to get we won't linger on it too much. Again, there's not much more that we can say that would put it any better than what Rosemary and Mindy have shared, but we're really talking about building quality-driven, rapidly delivered, not-for-credit training that meets the needs of business and industry, and not only meets the needs of business and industry, it's determined by business and industry with them being at the table, and we're helping our colleges build this so that every college, and Mindy talked about it needs to be a recognized credential at Northwest Shoals or at Bishop. That's the goal. We're building this so that every college can deliver this, and that it's unified. So when we have these task force with business and industry at the table, we want a well representation of that industry group to make sure we're covering the small and the large so that no one's left out of the conversation when we develop this. So today, our team's kind of going to give you an overview of what's taken place over the last few months. There's a lot of work that has gone into these courses, and there's still a lot of work that Rosemary mentioned 23. I would tell you that number could easily double if we started taking a list from the Chancellor. He's got a good list for us always. But there's needs everywhere that we look. And if you think about this from a business model, I want you to think about the idea that in the past, our pathways have kind of been fragmented. When we talk about getting an individual trained and qualified for a job, we have to have the adult ed pathway, where individuals who maybe were needing some additional training or skills, soft skills training, to make them employable, and we got them through an adult ed program. We said the next step for you is a short-term certificate. Well, that's a large step. And a lot of times those individuals probably are trying to maintain a job and trying to go to school or whatever. So the skills for success is that next step. Because we are articulating those credits toward a stackable degree that aligns with a career technical education program at a college, that makes that step for those individuals who may be unemployed or underemployed or not employed to be able to kind of continue down a pathway, whether it's continued not for credit, or if they move to a for-credit program, it's the pathway for them to continue to advance in the workforce. So if we look at what we consider to be the qualities of an ACCS credential, one of those is at the very bottom that I'm talking about now, is stackability to additional education or training. That's important. We talk about the need for upskilling a lot of our existing workforce. This is a way we can upskill, but at the same time, in upskilling, we're giving value to that individual if they decide to take that for an articulated credit and move into a CTE program. One of the things that we're doing with our completers, and we're looking forward to feedback, we have an MOU with the Department of Commerce that we'll be able to track employment outcomes for these individuals. So not only will we be capturing head count and the number of credentials produced, over time, that's going to give us a lot of analytical data as it relates to what impact that's had on return on investment for salaries for the state, for the taxes, for salary gains for individuals who go through this training. So we're looking to see what that data will prove out over time. It needs to be transparent evidence of the skills. We want the individuals that go through this training, and our team will talk a little bit more about what's in the training, but we need to make sure that it's proven mastery of theory on both the virtual portion and the hands-on. And then, you know, as I have kind of alluded to, these trainings are developed not by us, but by business and industry. When we meet with business and industry, these are some of the common things that we ask for, because if we can't check these boxes for business and industry, if we can't check these boxes and know that they're meeting these requirements, then business and industry can't hire these individuals. So we're asking these questions. And these are the basic building blocks that we start with when we form a task force and start trying to identify what a course looks like, what training needs to be in that course. And this is, Mindy, you said it, this is how we prove that this credential is of value from one end of the state to the other at all of our colleges. Many of us who've had to collect transcript from colleges for a job or show get a proof of our degree, well, now we're able to give the not-for-credit students the same type of portability, if you will, with the courses that they take through an official transcript at the college. And in this particular case, President Charles at Bishop is a heavy equipment operator for skid steer. So if things don't work out, well, we know where he can operate a skid steer. But that's the importance of it. And you think about the individuals who are obtaining this credential. For some of those individuals, this is a success that they haven't had in a while. And success breeds success. I think some of the best advice Quinn gave earlier, she gave some of the best advice today about short-term goals and long-term goals. This is one of the first building blocks for a short-term goal, for an individual to step and build steps on for a long-term goal toward a career. So with that, I'm going to turn the rest of the program over to the team.
Thank you, Keith. Chancellor Baker, Chairman McAnally, and Board of Trustees, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Julie Frizzell. I'm the Director of the Innovation Center. First, I would like to give an introduction to the rest of the team. We have let's see if it will scroll. There we go. I would like for them to introduce themselves and tell them a little bit about their roles with the Innovation Center and what they do. Okay.
Hello, my name is Houston Blackwood. I serve as the Workforce Director for the Skills for Success team, and my job is to connect the business and the individuals to the college and coordinate that training wherever it's going to happen.
Good morning. I'm Brandy Merrill. I'm the Administrator of Learning Repository Architecture, which basically means I'm responsible for content development and design from initial plan all the way to implementation.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Carr. I am the business analyst for Elevate. Through Elevate, we are able to register the participants as well as track their completion to provide the ACCS credential.
Hello, good morning. My name is Kayla Dozier, and I work with the team with community engagement, connecting our local colleges with what's going on with the Innovation Center and the newsletter that we put out each semester.
Hey, I'm Jessica Perez. I'm a community engagement and data coordinator as well, and will help build relationships with associations to help connect them with the Innovation Center to develop this curriculum.
Okay. Thank you all. Again, thank you for your hard work and dedication, because this wouldn't be possible without members of a team like this. But we also want to recognize other people in this room today who have played a part in making sure that our Skills for Success courses are being developed not only individually for individual skill sets, but also to meet the needs of business and industry. So if you're in the room today and you have been a part of our Skills for Success program development, will you please stand? We would like to recognize you. Thank you all for your time and your dedicated support to continue to ensure that we are training a skilled workforce for the state. So these are some individual pictures of some of the trainings that have happened throughout the state. The first corner picture is from Shelton State's food and beverage program. They have trained this course several times this year already, and then also with Marshall DeKalb Electric for our CDL. But the impact is not only with the students who are being trained, it's also with the business and industry partners that are helping us create the training programs. Some of those individuals include Cortez in the bottom left picture, and also the individual from C Spire who's helped us with our fiber optics training. These individuals have been impacted personally and are also sharing what Skills for Success courses are available with their friends and family. So next I want to review some of the courses that are available right now. As Mindy said, we started this year with our food and beverage course in January with Coastal, Alabama. This course has been offered 11 times throughout the state thus far, and we have 3 other trainings on schedule to be going on here in the few weeks. Not only are we utilizing our college campuses for training for the skills labs, but also in our communities, local restaurants have offered their space to hold their training in their facility as well. This happened with Coastal Alabama in the city of Butler. The Pennington Market opened up their facility to allow it to be used to train 7 individuals in the month of June. So we're really excited to say that these courses are portable. We don't need a college campus to hold a food and beverage lab, but we can also do it in a space that can allow us to utilize their facility as well. So it's exciting to see that innovative thought of utilizing other resources in the community can be successful. The next group of trainings that have been developed and available right now are through transportation industry. We started out with the Class A and Class B, and then added in the other endorsements that are available, such as the school bus, passenger, and hazmat endorsements. So really this is kind of an a la carte menu. If somebody would like to get their training and earn their CDL license, they can also add on one of the endorsements to go with that. So we can create our courses to meet those needs of those individuals, and the colleges can open that course up to make sure that they're not just earning one certification, but also the possibility of even more endorsements as well. Coming up this month, we also have rolled out our heavy equipment operation training. This will be partnered with Trenum College, and we are kicking off those discussions this week. We will start as a pilot for the heavy equipment lab with our skid steer training, and after that we will go through bulldozer and asphalt roller. So again, these trainings have been developed in partnership with our business and industry and state associations, and we've already had several other businesses reach out and say, hey, I'm ready. I have employees that I would like to put through this program. So as soon as we get kicked off with Trenum, then we'll be rolling this out to other employers with the colleges throughout the state. Following heavy equipment operation training will be fiber optics technician. This is the first of 2 courses that will be available. The first one will go through kind of the installation and how to install fiber optics, how to troubleshoot, and then the second course will be more focused on a fiber optics technician. There's other courses that you will find in your packet today that are our future programs. As Mindy and they mentioned earlier, there's over 23 programs that we started out with, but that number continues to grow each day. We're excited to tell you that some of the other courses in development right now that we're working with our task force and subject matter experts is the accommodations and recreations course, meat cutter course, and also facilities maintenance. And we've just added our land surveying technician course that will be added to that program list as well. Okay, so at this time I'm going to turn it over to Houston.
Good morning. I would like to just give you some numbers of our participants statewide so far since January 8th. And we've mentioned that date a few times. You know, this team really wasn't a team, hired staff until the first week of May. And so we were doing these things with the colleges and planning for a long time before. So you can see since January 8th, the colleges have delivered, registered, hosted, recruited 779 participants. And actually, that's wrong. That's completely wrong because we printed this yesterday afternoon. And so last night and today, and I can imagine in my phone's been buzzing the whole time we've been here, the number of participants that grow each day. They're averaging about, over all these programs, about 3.6 people a day that sign up and become a participant with one of our colleges around the state, which sounds like not a lot, 3.6 people. But when you add that up over the whole year, and then this is happening across the state. This is not at one college, this is not at one place where we all work. This is happening literally in every corner, in every place in between the state. So you can see we have registered participants. It's actually 789 right now, as of 8:30 this morning. And then we have 292 credentialed people. And so the difference there, credential for us is someone who has gone through the theory and then gone through the lab. And so for some of these courses like food and beverage, it's a little easier to do that in 2 days back to back, because the theory can be done in a half a day and the lab can be done in 1 day. But when you talk about bigger projects like commercial truck driving, which we want some time on that, we don't want a 4-hour training on those things. It's a little more complicated, and you have time and space, and you have instructors. And listen, the truck's got to work, the instructor has to be healthy, and the weather has to be good. And if all those things don't happen, you can't train and you can't test. And so we do have quite a gap between credentials awarded and registered participants, but all of that is just in the planning stages. There's a delay with testing just because there are so many people and there's such a great need. And there are only so many places and so many ways to be tested for CDL, so it just takes time. We have those things scheduled around the state. But if you think in 220 days since we started, we've had almost 800 participants. And that's a tribute to the colleges who have sorted these folks, worked with them, and recruited them. So this is in your newsletter. Some of that information is still outdated because we did print it yesterday. Okay, and this is just a nice representation of where this project is working for the colleges. So you can see that our school bus, Class B school bus credential happens in literally every county, nearly. There are 138-ish school systems in the state. We're working with over 70 of those. You know, some people had their own system, but we were allowed, with the colleges recruiting and all the information coming through, we have distributed that program around the entire state. CDL is working in all 4 corners, Northwest, Northeast, Bishop, Dothan. Reed State's our pilot. That will end in about 10 days. And so then you can see food and beverages happened around. And when we roll out our heavy equipment course and we give that to the colleges, our numbers will double, maybe triple with the participant number, because that's such a great need. So we're proud of that map right there. That's a lot of work. And the colleges, would be remiss if we didn't mention, the colleges deliver these things. They are the ones with boots on the ground, recruiting, scheduling, following up with the participants. But those 800 people get to the table because of our partnerships with the colleges. And as we had heard earlier from Rosemary and Mindy, that industry support is probably the most critical. Without that, we don't have a credential. We don't have input. We're literally just making up things to put into a binder. But we also have one other, he could not be with us today, Chris Strickland from Dunn University, Dunn Construction. He has a video message he would like to give us.
From the Dunn University team and on behalf of every construction company in our state, I wanted to say thank you for what you do. The teamwork that has been seen recently through the Skills for Success program as we all prepare to launch is going to create an innovative training source like none I've seen before. The partnership between industry and training providers, the ability to sit down and talk about what we need, what you can provide, and how we together build these classes to build the workforce of tomorrow is amazing. It not only is going to create better workers for all of our industries, it is also propelling Alabama, in my opinion, to the forefront of innovation for our nation, because I don't know of any other teamwork initiative like this across our country. And I'm proud of what we've developed and what the future holds for this and many other initiatives. Thank you for your effort, for your expertise, and for your interest in building a better workforce for tomorrow.
We really appreciate Chris's involvement and his kind words about our work, and from Mindy and Rosemary. And at that, I'll turn it over. Any questions from the board?
One, fantastic presentation, and good numbers. I'm a numbers guy, so if y'all don't have it, Keith or whoever's got it. I was writing down when Rosemary was giving out some stats on, the 4,880 unemployment checks a month, labor participation rate between 16 and 64, 43%. What is the need for the employers in the state right now? Does anybody have and if you don't have it now, you can get it to me later, but do we have a number on, I'm trying to reconcile the three of what's the need, what are the people not participating?
Department of Labor would tell you the people who are actively seeking jobs unemployed is 60 to 70,000.
In the state, okay.
Yes, but that's those who are actively seeking. That 40-something percent that's not in the labor force participation rate, that's a pretty astounding number. Adult education numbers would tell you that's 400,000 individuals. I read an article a few weeks ago that is probably maybe double that number in the state. And, Alabama ranks for the last 30 years, we've ranked 45th in the nation when it comes to average median household income. And for us to change that, we got to change labor force participation rate.
Exactly what I wanted. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for our team?
No, I'd just like to say thank you, appreciate this, love the delivery method and the rapid response, and, giving the customer just what they want, not what we want to give them, I think is critical. And you guys are doing that. Thank you for what you're doing very much. Very important work.
Mr. Chairman, I believe I'm correct. Every person that's involved in this were already employed in the system.
Okay, very
So
good.
we've got a lot of talent in this system.
Very good. That's awesome. Anything else? All right. Thank you. Great report, Chancellor. Item 12, committee reports. I would just say that the Audit Finance Committee met this week. We're going to be discussing in our upcoming work session our budgets for the coming year, and we'll have more to talk about next month with respect to those budgets. The date and location of our next meeting is our work session. It is today, and we're going to take just we're going to take a 5-8 minute break, and we'll reconvene back in here at about 11:20 for our work session. Our next Board of Trustees meeting is September 14th, 10 a.m. here in this room. I want to thank you all for attending today and being a part, and I would now entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Davis. Second, Mr. Woods. All in favor? We are adjourned. That's good stuff.
Have you ever really been to Dunn University? Have you ever? No, but I know.
Sorry, man, thank you for mentioning, I got the society.
No, I don't.